And we are live.
Hey everyone, it's Ultra Podcast Z, and I just realized this is a kit. I thought it was a figure. Sorry, I got an Amazon package literally right before the show started, and it's a Gundam, but it's a Sun Wukong Gundam. And I've been waiting for this for years. Amazon finally got it in stock and shipped it, but it's a kit. I thought it was a figure.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know, it's a Gundam. It makes a lot of. Man, you better open it up. Make sure it's not all destroyed.
Have you never seen Gundam collectibles, Manuel?
I thought it was a figure. No, it's funny because like I was moving.
Okay.
I didn't mean to open it on air. By the way, I was moving the box and like, why is it so light? And and it wasn't that it was light. It's that if the box felt weird that it was inside the envelope. I was expecting a figure like the way not Figma. What do they call those things? The Funko Pops, but the Japanese ones.
Nendroids?
Someone's gonna get annoyed by that. Yeah, Nendroid.
This guy said Funko Pops, but the Japanese ones.
That's what I said. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was gonna be a box like a stiff box that I would feel like the thing. So I opened it. I'm like, this is a kit. I don't want to put this together. It's not that okay. It's not that I don't think I can. It's that I wanted just to put it on a shelf. But I guess I'll just put this on a shelf. There you go. I collect Sun Wukong stuff. If you want to send me Sun Wukong stuff, send it to me. I'm not actually a Gundam person at all. I just got that for Sun Wukong. Anyways, guys, it's Ultra Podcast Z, episode 187. I'm Manuel, and I like Sun Wukong. Warren, go introduce yourself while I open up Twitch.
What's up, guys? My name is Warren, aka Frederick Badman, aka that dude, but not that dude, aka Too Many Names McGee. And not gonna lie, I totally forgot that I was on this. And then I was like, I was talking to Leslie about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll be an Ultra Podcast Z today. And I totally forgot. And I was like, apparently I agreed to it. She's like, yeah, you did. I was like, oh shit.
I know.
Even Leslie, even she knows. Even though she knows, like it's scary. I was like, oh, so I did. I was like, so I did agree to this. Like for some reason, I didn't remember agreeing to it. But I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I did, but I don't remember doing it.
It's so funny. Yeah, you agreed to it last week. In case you don't know what we're going to talk about tonight, it was going to be this is going to be a sort of follow up to an episode we did back in September, pre-Halloween for sure. I don't remember exactly when it was, when we were discussing Rings of Power and House of the Dragon. Why am I like fading in and out? I should not have worn a black shirt when it's this dark. Hold on. Well, that's the wrong way. Okay. But yeah, we're doing a recap, not a recap, a follow-up, because now both shows are done and we've all watched the rest of it, amongst other stuff. But today's voting day. Hope everyone voted. Go be a responsible citizen. And I guess if you didn't vote, you kind of actually, if you're still in West Coast time, you still have time to vote. Otherwise,
we have
then
like 2 hours.
Yeah, otherwise,
a little less than 2 hours.
Or if you're in Hawaii.
Oh, in Hawaii, yeah.
I guess parts of Alaska.
Parts of Alaska. No one cares about Alaska.
Manuel,
Alaska,
no, I'm just
like
kidding.
Alaska.
I'm joking.
They're like, it's been the same day every day for the last year.
No, there's this movie I used to love, and it actually ties in somewhat. There's this movie I used to love, and it's called North. No one remembers it but me.
That movie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis was in it. So was Elijah Wood, aka Frodo. Years before that, though, but he was a kid, and it's about this kid who's like the best kid, or whatever the fuck, and like he decides to like divorce his parents and find new parents. Mm-hmm. So he goes around the world finding new parents. But at one point, I don't think he goes to. I think he might go to Alaska, because I don't. Where else would he go? He's not going to go to like Antarctica or something. But he goes to Alaska with like Inuit people, and at one point, he's all like, oh, I decided I'm gonna go back and like find the rest of and finish my tour. And it's like, oh, you should hurry up, because like you've already been here for 2 months. And he's like, what? It's like yes, it's like, but the sun hasn't gone down. Like, yeah, it doesn't go down here like for like 60 days during whatever. And it's like, no wonder we stopped for lunch 49 times or some shit like that. And I'm like, how do you not know? You would have went to sleep like 49,
Right?
50 times.
He just took
I mean,
very
how
long
old
naps.
was he though?
He was like 8 or something.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. You know how it is for little kids.
You don't understand
The last-
time. You just think it's when the sun goes down, you go to sleep, you wake up, the sun's back up, and
Like,
that's a day.
not gonna lie. Okay, my little brother moved to Georgia. He's like 9 years old, and he is just like, "We're coming back, right?" And my parents like, "No, we are living there now." And he is just like, "No, but I want to come back." They're like, "No, we can't."
It's kind of funny and sad at the same time.
That was me after moving to Georgia.
He doesn't understand. I know every moving to Georgia. What's up with that? Like, what's in Jordan? See,
A job.
I love Alaska
Manuel.
now.
If you
What's up
paid me
with
as much as my
Georgia?
job pays me, I
Yeah,
would quit that and do this, but you can't.
Yes, that JD, you are right too. That's why my parents moved out there too.
It's actually funny. I joke, but like, it's actually Georgia's a good place to live. Apparently, they're like the new Hollywood too. I don't know if you knew about that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of shows filmed there. Like, when we talked about it in the past, certain people who've been on the podcast, like certain PG Parade members, have been in like, you know, some shows, like not just Stranger Things. We always make the joke about Stranger Things, and I think I'll only say that one because they've said that on shows, you know, live before. But like, we have friends, even if Warren doesn't know this, you know, we have
I don't
friends
know.
who were in the
This is-
background
I
of
didn't
a ton of shows. Like,
Yeah.
we've
Like
always made that joke.
Disney and Marvel shoot a lot of stuff out in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of stuff.
Like if you wait until the end of the credits, you'll see the like Made in Georgia logo appear.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Oh, is that's what it is?
Yeah, it's a peach.
Oh. Okay.
Peach. Yeah, the Rings of Power was filmed in Georgia for the. You know what's funny? I guess we'll semi segue into that. By the way, we're gonna talk about Rings of Power and Game of Thrones,
Yep.
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and probably some other stuff in between and all around as we get around to it. But did you realize that Rings of Power was filmed in New Zealand? I didn't realize that. That didn't look like the same places.
I mean,
Because they pick
you know
different
how many
places,
years
Manuel.
yeah, man. You know, New Zealand isn't just like one location.
It's
of
not just
one.
Houghton.
Manuel's all like,
Well, it's funny because
Manuel's just like, what? He's like, why doesn't this place look like the other place? Like, because we're in a different spot. What are you talking about?
well, I
just
guess
messed with you, dog.
they must have did that. They must have done that consciously because Hercules, Xena, even Legend of the Seeker, which was the Sword of Truth TV show that like bombed, and obviously Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were all filmed in New Zealand. And it's funny because especially the other four, except for The Hobbit was a little weird because so much of that was CG. But all those movies use the same freaking locations. Like when the fellowship's walking across, like, you know, the big green nothing. I'm like, that's where Hercules was. That's where Xena was riding her horse, doing her, you know, thing and so on. But yeah, I'm like,
Okay, that's what you meant.
yeah. And
Okay,
so I always
makes
assumed that there's certain places. It's not so much that like you can't go somewhere else, but I assumed you couldn't, probably because like you couldn't rent out certain places or like. But then again,
Mhm.
I can't remember who the YouTuber was. I think it was Nostalgia Chick, or does she have another name now? I don't know if she still goes by that. I don't think she goes by that anymore.
Lindsay Ellis?
Lindsay Ellis. Like she doesn't go by the. She still did when she made the video though. I think she did a video about it, about how like Hollywood is basically like convinced New Zealand to change its laws about like, you know, paying actors and filming locations, shit like that. So maybe that's why. Maybe now the whole island's open. Anyway, fun fact: when I was a kid, I was taught that New Zealand wasn't its own like country; that it was part of Australia for many, many years of my life. And like I'm like, don't send your kids to public school. I was so confused when I found out it wasn't. I'm like, you mean that's a sovereign nation? I thought it was to Australia what Puerto Rico is to the US. And if
Like
any
a territory?
if any New
Commonwealth.
Zealanders are watching this, obviously I don't believe this. Obviously, this is not true. But I want you all to know that many a child in the LA area was taught that. Probably that was LA school district nonsense. Anyways.
How about Taiwan, man? I'm just kidding.
Oh, we don't.
You know, Manuel
Okay,
got
no,
upset the
Continue.
CCP.
Moving on.
Rings of
Anyways,
Power. What'd you think of Rings of Power, Leslie? Leslie, you better have voted.
she did.
Fuck
She's
yourself.
going to.
Oh, we're back. Well, you
ass
kind of
sinking too far deep into my seat.
Is that a new chair? Because you were squeaking a lot the other day. But anyways,
No, it's the same
Oh.
chair.
anyway. So what are your thoughts of Rings of Power? Before I like your overall thoughts, and not just thoughts.
Not gonna lie, it was okay. Okay, I'm gonna just try to be nice about it. Not be nice because it makes it sound like I'm gonna say some mean shit. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit more forgettable than I thought that was gonna be.
Yeah.
It you know, I mean, like they had like it's like the best way I could put it is like it's not like a great watch, but it's not a bad watch either. It's just okay. Like that's as much as I could like that I would say is like it's an okay watch. It's still fun. It's just not great. And it
Yeah, that was my thoughts too. It's like it's a good show. I don't regret the time I spent with it. But now that it's
Mhm.
done, I'm like, and especially now that it's really done, like as in like the season's wrapped, obviously done watching it, like we're waiting on news for the next one. I'm like, and I'm looking back on it, I'm like, I've never ever thought this for a TV show. I've never thought this before. But I really hope that they George Lucas up this series and go back and change things. Because like
yeah, some of that CG was
oh yeah.
oh
So
I mean it's okay. It wasn't like bad. Sometimes it's like god dang it, but it is what
No,
it is.
the
What can we say?
first episode feels unfinished. Not okay. To go way back to it, if you watch the first episode we did, I was like, "Oh, what's up with this first episode? Like, there's nothing on screen. There's no one on screen. It's like 5 elves in like in a scene of like the city of like what I forgot was that supposed to be Linden? I don't remember, but it's like 5 elves in that city like ever, and it was like, what is this? Like, could they not afford more people? I found out that filming began during the lockdown. So
Yeah.
I can only assume that they filmed in order, which isn't that common, by the way. Well, I guess it is for TV because you would still film per episode, but I can only assume they filmed in order, and that's why the first episode has like no one in it. But it doesn't take a lot of money to get some extras on a green screen and insert them in. Because I still look at it like I actually went back, and when they're doing that whole the whole welcoming with Galadriel and her little like band or whatever, there's 10 no there was 10 elves on the screen, and like 4 of them are like the crowd. The crowd, like it's like this cost $1 billion, and you couldn't like CG in like. You couldn't quadruple them and just kept putting them like in the background or something. It just like
Manuel's just like, why didn't you just copy paste them?
exactly.
I mean, they did that for that one scene
They
in
do
the
it?
tower.
Copy
When they're all cooped up in the tower, and then they're just like
did
the
they do
crowd of
that?
people from the village. Yeah.
See, they apparently were willing to do it here and
Oh,
there.
okay.
Because suddenly the show does open up. I could only assume
Yeah, like
everything in Numenor must have been shot when the lockdown things were done, because that feels like a city. But that's it.
yeah, they actually really does feel like it's, I was just like, damn, that place is alive. I was like, what the fuck happened to the first few episodes?
No, it's so like, and all of it, like even when they first showed the Harfoots before they start moving, it's just like there's only a few. I was actually really confused with how many hobbits there were. I'm like, are there like 20 or 30 of them? But when they start moving, when they show them, yeah, there's a ton of them, and I'm like, okay. But once again, you would think. Not even the extras, just fucking CG it. It's like I just couldn't believe how cheap they released it like that. And before you wonder, like I checked this too, but it stopped filming in 2021, so they still took a year to like finish up the show. And I'm like, was there no time and budget to like? And that's not like creating a fucking dragon or creating like a meteor falling or whatever. There were no dragons in the show, but creating whatever the fuck other CG or the Balrog from Lord of the Rings again. But it's like, cause then this is just like adding more people to a scene. It's like I think that's so weird. And then I don't know what the fuck was up with that one shot. It's still weird. They couldn't fix this when like they're at the grave of like all the people in the trees, and like the lamps were just like the fucking Home Depot lamps, like the garden lamps they just had in the ground. That still looks bad. I'm like, you couldn't have like CG'd that, like put little glowy circle on it, then just do copy paste that like 50 times. There you go.
The Home Depot light things. It's funny because I totally forgot that that's what you said. I love that you always bring it up.
Because no, it's so early on. It's so early on that like I just can't believe that they would put that as their foot forward. Like going to House of the Dragon, that it's almost the reverse, because like their first 2 episodes were like full of like the first episode had that fucking tournament, and it was like all these people, all this shit going down. Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's like this is the way you start a show. I just found it so weird. Like, why start a show like that when the show is already getting so much bad, like, you know, fan reaction? It just, I don't know. I can't imagine a normie watching those first episodes and coming and like keep on watching.
Yeah, I know that. Then you kind of remind me because one of my friends, she's a normie. She watched. She's like, "This is fun." I was like, "I mean, they're like, yeah." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Okay, well, sure. You enjoy what you enjoy." I like what like I wouldn't say like
That
I'm not gonna
sounded
say
so
like
passive aggressive, Warren.
like
I know, he's like, you enjoy
what you like.
You have a bad taste.
Okay. Well, I mean, well, okay. I'm just gonna talk this is like going off topic, just a tangent. All right. She liked that one Star Wars where they had a slow speed chase and everyone was teleporting to places and shit, and they said that they liked it. And after that, I just realized what kind of taste they have. So it is bad. But I'm not okay. Going back to Rings of Power, it just didn't captivate me as much. Like I thought it was gonna like grab me and hold me. And now it's just like, oh shit, there's so much shit going on at one time. There's like, there's too much. Can we like focus more? Like, I get it. Like, I get that they want to, you know, like weave everything together. But it's kind of like, oh shit, look at this teleportation happening right here.
Oh yeah, they busted some late season Game of Thrones shit in Rings of Power. I know it's different series, but they busted some of that bullshit right away. Like right away, they were busting it. Where it's all like, dude,
remember they're on the ice?
No,
the very beginning.
All of it.
Like,
they went back and forth to Numenor, like in an episode, like twice. They went to the Southlands, went back to Numenor. I'm like, how that trip could not be like 5 hours that you apparently made it. Like they were back the next day, especially when they got there. Okay, that I can kind of get having a time compress them leaving, but them getting there, that was bad editing. There's no reason why. When that battle was about to start in, you know, the Southlands, that the fucking Numenorians were barely leaving. I mean, clearly that's their defense. Like, no, the time is a little off. They left weeks ago, but we just showed it. No, then fucking show it in a previous episode. Don't make that like.
I'm sorry, people don't hold up a calendar and point. Hey, it's this day.
That makes no sense though. Like not. It's like they're just showing you random scenes at that point. If they're not going to if they're not going to sync it up.
I think part of it, at least, to try and make it more entertaining to watch.
And I know everyone hates
obviously the plot lines are moving at different speeds, but they'll reach to like sync up similar points so that the beats hit rather than. And
I know everyone hates
chronology.
when they do this. But they did this too at the end of the show. Spoiler alert! When they're like Southlands and they're like. Mordor.
Yep.
Then fucking do a title wipe. Like do that every time you move back. Like 3 weeks ago, Numenor, or make up a date. I don't know. I actually don't know how the fucking. I think they use like Gregorian calendar for some reason, even in Middle Earth, like June, July, whatever the fuck. So I can only assume that like just make up a date, like June 7th. You know. Second age, where the fuck year it is, and then when you come back to Southlands, it's like, oh, we're actually in July because it's a month later. We just, we haven't caught up yet. Do that if you're gonna fucking like. And I know everyone's like, no, but then you don't want the audience like you fucking did it anyway. You thought the audience would be too stupid to remember what Mordor was. By the way, I love they did that. Spoiler alert: the very last shot of the show, basically, it's like Southlands, Mordor. I'm pretty sure that they meant for there to be a line or something, and they never filmed it. There's no way that they meant to have that on screen. That was so cheesy. Leslie's like, I'm stupid.
Oh, yeah. Manual.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think the reason it uses the Gregorian calendar, at least the in universe reason, is that it's like Tolkien adjusting it to the Gregorian calendar, like the narrator or whatever adjusting it so that people reading it understand it.
It's not. How does I always wondered that. Like, I think they reckon it by ages, but do the hobbits have their own reckoning? I don't know if they ever explain that. Do hobbits like just have eras? Why don't the hobbits have a king? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But Leslie mentioned those witches. I still don't know what the fuck those witches were. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean the ones that were looking for Sauron?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
who the fuck are they? That makes no sense.
Yeah. I know one of them though. One of them is fucking Slim Shady.
Oh yeah, he's the M&M looking one.
No. All right. They're looking for 8 Mile. Okay. They're looking for 8 Mile specifically.
For those that don't know, the Middle Earth like canon is weird, and what I mean by weird is that magic, as like everyone else knows, it doesn't really exist. Like people can't just go around fireball. Like only 5 people in Middle Earth can do that. 5 people, and they're all men for starters, and they're all wizards, and that's all of it. There's no random human wizards. Who the fuck are they?
It's Gandalf, Sauron, Radagast, and the 2 blue wizards, right?
Yes. So I'm like, who the fuck are those ones? Are they the blue wizards? And there's more than 2. Does one of them become Radagast? Does one of them become Sauron? Does fucking Eminem become Sauron? Actually, I'll believe that. But they've already screwed up with Gandalf's, like, Gandalf sails on a ship. Like, he doesn't end up on a meteor or whatever the fuck. And yes, that clearly has to be Gandalf. Like, who else would it
I know. Leslie was just like, that's not Gandalf. I was like, that is Gandalf. She's like, no, it isn't. I was like, it is. Lily's clearly is him.
I mean, clearly it looks like him, and especially, I love at the end.
And then remember they named him?
Yeah, there's no in between. Like, he's literally like he can't talk, and then suddenly he's like fucking college collegiate baller.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how long he's been with him, but for some reason this fool fucking learned English faster than anybody.
He's the
ever. My man's came here.
Leslie, not 2 S's.
The Khaleesi. Who's that?
Khaleesi. It's a female leader of Khalasar in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say Khaleesi.
Shut up. The Dragassi. Anyway, not Khaleesi. What is this? Wait, what was that? People actually ship Drago and what's his face? I always want to say Drago, by the way. And Daenerys.
Drogo and Daenerys.
Did I say Drago?
Yes, it's not Drago. Drago's the guy Rocky fights in Rocky 4.
Exactly. I will crush you. I will break you. But yeah,
I must break you.
Like, but she loved him. Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
But
like Jon Snow was just on Jon Snow's because she just couldn't fit. It's just sometimes you just it became a Korean drama. Okay, it just became a K-drama. All of a sudden, you're just.
Let's jump back. Let's actually jump to Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon for a minute, because that's a good segue. We'll come back to Rings of Power. We'll leave those women. We'll leave Slim Shady Sauron back there, for a minute. House of the Dragon, I think, was a lot better. It was like, even. Like, I've mentioned this in the past. I don't think I've ever really described this whole thing that directly. I actually was talking about this at PMX. I'm gonna tell you this really brief story because it tells you, like, this was me during the entire time watching House of the Dragon. So at PMX, I was waiting for people to show up, like my roommates, and I decided to watch TV. But I wanted to watch something on TV and not put on my computer yet because it was too much of a hassle hooking it all up. So I turned on the TV and Scarface was showing. So I'm watching Scarface, and it's on TV. I can't pause it. I can't stop the movie. So I'm watching it. And it's that scene. If you've never seen it, go watch it or whatever. But there's a scene where, like, they kind of get stopped and you think he's gonna get killed. They kill his brother. They're cutting off his leg or whatever the fuck. And then it was making me so anxious. And there's a lot of times I'll watch a show or read a book or do something like that, and I'm getting so anxious when, like, the stuff is happening. I have to take a break from it usually, but I couldn't because it was TV. You could turn off the TV, I know, but I'm stupid. And then eventually one of the roommates called and I went to go get them, and I was able to break away from the movie. But that was me during House of the Dragon a lot of times because there was so much fucking tension, and I felt like there was a lot of it. A lot of it was good. There was some of it that I didn't think was good.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was good, and a lot of fuck shit happened.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of like that thing where it's just like, I'm glad that they kind of like, they really focused on like very specific characters, because it's like, because I remember like, so this is kind of like, this is kind of a tangent too, because one of my friends on Facebook, me and Leslie's friends, was like, I don't know, I'm kind of liking Rings of Power more than House of the Dragons. Like, what? Like how? There's like no character. I was like, I'm not gonna name them because I don't want to. I don't want to. You know, I don't want to start any trouble. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was just like, man, the character development here. I was like, oh god, fucking why?
What's
Sometimes I was
funny?
like, god damn it, why is everyone's fucking like? I was like, at first it's like, okay, I know where I want to stand, and eventually it's like, oh no. I am on I'm on this tightrope right now, and I don't know, like Damon. I was like, fuck this guy, and eventually I was like, damn, I kind of like him now, and then later I was like, oh, I kind of don't like him again. I was like, god damn it.
I'm not gonna lie, I never
fucking
really
love it.
like Damon.
Like I was just like, why do I have to like him and not like him at the same time? Because I'm just like, oh, it's like you're such a fucking piece of shit in the beginning, and then towards the middle, it's like, all right, you kind of chill, and then at the end, I was like, I don't know, man, this is kind of questionable. You fuck. Like, are we gonna talk about spoilers with that? But then yeah, what was I say? Yeah, it was just more captivating in the sense that like the characters, and like the way that the character developments happen, and how obviously how the little chess pieces are just moving around like constantly. Because I was just like, oh, that's not gonna happen. It's like, oh fuck, oh damn, dude, holy shit! I was not expecting any of this shit.
What's funny is that I agree, by the way, totally about has much better character development. What's funny is that I think even on paper, if you wrote all the names down, like so even the quote unquote like main and kind of supporting cast, there are way more characters in House of the Dragon than are in Rings of Power. And I know Rings of Power was two less episodes. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Oh my god! I actually, fun fact, before we went live, because I remembered it, I had to look up the names. Just like I have them written, little thing written down here, so if I had to name them, I'm like, oh, that's who they are. But by the time it got towards the end of the show, when like they have all the kids, I could not remember all those kids' names. I was so glad. Spoiler alert! At the very end, when one of them dies, I'm like, I do not have to remember his name anymore. Thank you for killing him.
Really,
dude?
Yes.
And you. Did you remember the twin the Kingsguard, the two
Arik
twins,
and Eric?
Aaron and Aaron? Was it Eric and Eric?
I think it's Arik and Eric.
Is it
like?
By the way, I didn't.
It's like, and they're spelled they're spelled the same way. Just one's an A, one's an E.
I didn't look it up, but are they real twins?
Yes.
Is that like?
Oh,
they are actual twins, and at one point they had to swap actors because one of them caught COVID.
Oh, okay, because it was funny. I wanted to look it up because I'm like, I really wonder if they just did like, I'm like, that's probably gonna cause some bullshit later on if they did some fucking Parent Trap bullshit where it's all like Lindsay Lohan's playing both, So yeah, but what I found funny about Damon is it wasn't until I heard somebody else's take on it that I kind of because I thought it was weird when his first wife died. I can't remember her name. What's her Lerna? I'm making that name up. The little girl from
his second wife, yeah.
Oh,
the second wife. The second wife.
I thought you meant I was just like the first. Are you talking about the first one he killed with the fucking rock?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that first wife. Did they show her before he killed her? Because I feel like they didn't show her.
I think she might have gotten like one scene before that just to.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, who is she?
Did she? I just only remember her in the very beginning of that episode where she was about to or she's on the horse and she's talking shit, and then he's like, "It's over." My bad. I should be laughing at it, but that's like the only time that I saw her, and I was like, "This is it?"
But when the second wife was giving birth, hold on, I gotta stop and have this discussion real fast. I was talking about this with Warren the other night, and
Last night.
weeks ago,
Quite literally
weeks
last
ago, long before I was even watching some of these episodes, I was talking to a friend of mine, and you'll see where I'm going with this. I'm going to tell you this really fast. And I was having a conversation with them about how I was like, I'm so glad. And actually, maybe they still do this. I just don't watch sitcoms anymore. I'm so glad that sitcoms don't do that random pregnancy episode where like the pregnant character has to give birth during the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like even as a kid, that made me like awkward. And I know I saw all these things like, oh, that shouldn't, like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to have kids. You know, it's like, it's not has anything to do with like, you know, me not wanting. I just don't want to see anyone do it. Like, I don't care that that's how I was born. Like, did I ask to be born anyway? My point is, I don't want to see it. I'm like, why was that such a trope in the 90s where there's always like a random birthing scene? And then fucking I know Game of Thrones does it too, but fucking Rings of Power has like 7 or 8 of them. I'm not even exaggerating, by the way.
Wait, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power?
I meant House of the Dragon. I said Rings of Power, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, House of the Dragon has like 7 or 8 of them. Not even exaggerating. And some of them were so graphic. I was like, what? And it starts with one, kind of.
They even have like, it's like ASMR. All these noises.
Oh my god! But like, and I'm like, I don't need to see this. I was actually fast forward. I was like double tapping through some of it. I was like, well, I couldn't do it. I watched the last episodes not on HBO Max. But when I watched them on HBO Max, I was double speeding them. I was like, I can't watch this. I was like, I don't fucking want to see this. And it's funny because I see even some of my friends were sharing articles about like, you shouldn't be weirded out by it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it like, I'm not, you know, I don't want to have kids. I don't ever want to see that. Is that such a horrible thing to say? I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, that's your preference. I still judge you on it, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, have you guys, I mean, okay, but I mean, in actuality, okay, have you ever seen a child get, like, have you ever seen someone give birth? I've watched it. It's fucking, it's not pretty. I don't give a fuck if people are just like, huh?
When I was a kid, I don't know if you guys do the same thing. When we took health in like, well, more than once, but I think like in 6th grade we had a health class, like first year of middle school, and we had to watch a birthing video. It was funny. It was funny to me because like it was old. It was like from the 80s, so it was like weird film quality to begin with.
Did the baby come out with a mullet?
I know exactly. It's like no, but it actually it's funny because the mom had a very 80s looking hairstyle. But anyway, but yeah, so I saw it. We all saw it as kids, and it's like, what the fuck? And even then, I'm not gonna lie, and it's actually funny that I bring this scene up because I'm not. I realized this when I was talking to my friend a few weeks ago about this whole thing about the 90s sitcom thing. That I really think it was from that made me never want to have kids like at all. And I know that's like you're not the one giving birth.
Health?
I get it. But I still don't want to have. I'm not about to put like. Why would I put
somebody else in that?
Do that. It's like no, fuck that. Stop breeding. No humans anymore. We're the last generation. But yeah, I remember watching that and it fucked me up. I still remember the scene. I still remember like that. I can picture that movie we watched in fucking 6th grade health class very vividly. I don't remember who the fuck my teacher was, but I remember that video and I remember that lady and I remember that baby. I remember the head coming through.
This is what Manuel sees when he was watching House of the Dragon. Yo,
yeah.
But you know, it's supposed to be, you know, I'm like, remember I was talking about that because Manuel was like. We were kind of having a discussion. I was like, you know, that they're just driving in the point. They're like, look at this. This is the only reason why they're showing all this birthing is because that's all you know, that's all that they care about. All right.
I mean, that is true.
You're just baby making machines. That's it.
It's funny because that actually.
No one take that out of context, please.
Oh yeah, no. He's saying the show's making that point. You know that
yes, theme. I'm not saying that's a Winmore. I'm talking about the theme that is yes the theme of the show is that.
That's not Warren saying that he thinks women are just baby making machines.
I don't want kids either. So,
but yeah, so I didn't realize this until like both apparently in the history. I need to reread that again. But this guy I was watching doing a review of it was mentioning that when his wife like killed herself with the dragon, like had the dragon like Dracarys or whatever,
Yes.
that apparently she was trying to do that because she was afraid she was gonna get C-sectioned, like the way I don't think she knew this, but like the way like the Rhaenyra's mom died at the very beginning.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, and it was funny because when I watched that scene, it felt like the time was a little like spread apart. Like I thought she'd already miscarried or whatever the hell by the time she was killing herself. But I guess she like started escaping when Daemon was talking to the fucking maester about like whether they should do it. Because in my head I was like, Daemon's gonna fucking do it. Like Daemon's not gonna yeah.
Like,
cut her open. I'll start.
Right? I was just like, and then even when she like burned herself, I was like, damn, I bet you this guy, if she wanted to die, he would have just like, all right, dude.
I thought that was such a weird move. And don't get me wrong, I understand like she was going through stuff because she had miscarried. But I'm like, girl, it's like you have kids. Like, you have two daughters.
That's why I was just like, oh, what is she trying to do? I was like, oh, the dragon gonna eat her? And she's like, burn me. He's like, what? No, what are you doing? I was like, don't do it. And the dragon's just like, nah, dude, I'm kind of chill here. Like, and I thought I'm gonna be on this beach.
He wasn't gonna do it. I thought he was not gonna do it.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of fucked me. That was one of the big like, oh fuck moments, because I was like, this is not gonna happen. It's probably gonna be like, yo, it's okay, I love you, it's all right. We're gonna try to like, we'll do no. Yeah, she's just like, nah, dude, just fucking kill me. And the dragon's all like, are you sure, dude? And she's like, yes. She's like, and it's just like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit, they fucking did it. I was like, I can't believe they did it. Like, I mean, it's not
oblivious. Like, if that was the case, how did he like not notice she like was running off or whatever, like to go get burned.
And I think too is like she was hella weak. I was just like, how did no one see this? They're like, hey, you just gave birth. Why are you just like limping away? And they're like, oh no, it's cool, dude. Like, yeah, you're it seems like you're gonna go take a walk. Yeah, I thought that part was just like, how did no one see? No, how did no one not see her? I was like, what the fuck?
There was the part when Rhaenyra gave birth to whichever one of her sons. To Joffrey, actually.
Yes, Joffrey.
Gave birth to Joffrey, and one of the quote unquote like the bastards from like the strong dude, as in the guy named Strong, not like he's strong, but and she gets summoned to like the queen, and she's walking through the whole thing, even though she's just given birth. I thought she was gonna like bleed and let out all that shit on the floor, like probably literally when she was walking. And I kept like holding my breath. I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna fucking like just make a huge mess in front of the fucking court, It's gonna be this huge scene. But surprisingly, it didn't happen. I thought that was weird. Like the one time the show decides to hold back a little. I was like, oh
yeah, I thought so too. I was just like, oh no, some fuck shit's about to happen.
But I mean, she did struggle, but and she kind of bled when she was leaving. But like, but it was like, oh, okay, so she didn't make the giant mess in the fucking Great Hall like I thought she would. Speaking of the kids, I was talking about this to JD earlier. Did you realize that Ellison's two kids married each other?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. Helena, the crazy girl, the one that was like speaking all the freaking like telling the future. She's like, "You're gonna lose an eye. There's a beast in the house," or whatever the heck she kept saying about what the fuck was the brother's name? Daron. But yeah, she married Aegon.
Yeah, I was just like,
that is your sister.
I mean, well, remember, okay, the Targaryens, okay, which is kind of like, what's really interesting, because those are Alicent's kids, but she was the one talking so much shit to Rhaenyra about fucking kissing her uncle.
No,
Daemon, like she kissed. Remember, she was just like, you guys do, like, and I quote, okay. Maybe I should, but she did say it is like the Targaryens are known to do like, I think she said like these queer things. That's what she said. I was like, what the? I was like, damn, that's fucked up. How dare you say that? But then it is like, but not. I was just like, okay, she's talking about the incest part. I was like, and this bitch was talking about it like when she found out, like, how dare you? how dare you try to sleep with your uncle? And then later, she let her 2 kids fucking like.
Well, it's funny because Allison basically was just was doing all the same politicking bullshit as everyone else was. Like by the end, remember her feet when she was like letting that dude like come to her feet?
It's that like and even when people were like, "Oh, this is not why are you guys afraid?" Okay, I'm not gonna even go on. I'm not gonna go on with that tangent because people are fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's like.
But yeah, I was like, come on, lady, you're over here trying to play the game, but then like you're still like you're literally seen as like you're not even like you're important, but just important enough because you're the mom of the king, and you're the wife of fucking
queen consort.
Like she's hella whack.
No, it's funny.
Technical term,
but she's
I think queen consort is the technical term, at least until Aegon takes the throne, when she might be technically queen dowager.
I mean, she was technically the queen, but then it's like it's just one of those things where it's just like, come on, did you see how they treat you? When she's like, no, dude, no, I want my king. I was like, damn, you're really that blind. Come on, dude.
Because like
they don't give a fuck.
From what I remember, I might have read it wrong, and I've only read it once a long time ago, and I barely remember it. But from what I remember, she's kind of painted as kind of like the good person in the war. I won't spoil how it all ends, by the way. I actually kind of remember how it all ends now. Well, who ends up winning, basically. But like Rhaenyra is supposed to be like the crazy one, like the crazy, violent, bloodthirsty one or whatever. But I feel like the show kind of got that a little weird. Like I just felt sorry for Rhaenyra the whole time, pretty much. I'm like, Rhaenyra better kick their asses and like murder all these people. And but Alicent in the show is like so high and mighty, but she's like ordering assassinations. She like did she kill that maid? I was confused by that. I'm like,
no, I believe she just paid her off and made sure she drank moon tea.
It's like I felt like it was going to be poison, but I was like, oh, I guess it's not poison.
No,
but,
it was confirmed to be.
Yeah, I thought that she was going to kill her too.
Yeah,
because you'd be like, yo, she's like, oh, I was like, this lady, like they're like, oh man, this maid lady, she knows too much. She done fucked my son. We should kill her so no one knows that some whack shit happened. But they gave her that moon tea.
Plan BT.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plan BT. No, it's funny because I saw her give her the money, obviously, but I assumed that was gonna be like, here's the money, here's the tea, and then the tea is gonna be like fucking strychnine or some bullshit like that. Then she dies, like, I got the money too. Like it's a GTA scene or some bullshit. But like, so I was like, what the fuck? It's like, but even otherwise, she's still like playing the whole politicking game. She's buying information from that fucker whose name I can't remember. The fuck
Laris.
guy. Laris, yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I just called him Randall from fucking was it Recess? He looks like Randall from Recess.
He does.
He looks like Randall from Recess, and he acts the same way, just like conniving, like
he's off on the side, like
demon. Like. Okay, continue. I just called him Randall because I was just like, fuck this guy. Like I hated him so much.
When he first showed up, I actually didn't know who he was. I was so confused because he was the brother, I guess, of the one that Rhaenyra was sleeping with, and I'm still confused, like why he had them all killed. Like, did he not like his father and his brother? I feel like that was a weirdly unexplored. The one character that they didn't really explore that well. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Oh,
maybe we're just.
Sir Otto?
Otto Hightower, yeah.
Otto. No. That is the guy. That is Allison's father. But
yes,
Sir
the hand, yeah.
Kristen Cole. Kristen Cole is what I'm trying to think of. Kristen Cole. Why the fuck?
Sir Crispy?
I mean, I guess we can only assume that some political bullshit happened in the time skip. But how did he get away with murdering that dude's lover? That blew my mind.
Like, I think it was specifically Allison's like protection, essentially.
But still, like that
like nobody else checked. That's the other part too. Because I was like, but then I think that's supposed to be play off.
Like, I get Alicent could probably keep him from getting killed. Don't get me wrong. I get that, but he shouldn't have kept his position. That makes no sense.
Manuel, have you seen the world we live in? It makes tons of sense.
I just
Yeah, that's true. You are right. You are right.
He killed him at a party, and I had to look it up. He was a knight of like noble birth. He wasn't a nobody like that character. He was also called Joffrey, very confusingly. He was a knight of some other presumably noble house from like the south or whatever that fucking place is, Driftmark, and but he was the lover of the son of like the fucking what's he called, the Storm Lord dude, the Valerian guy. I
The
can't remember
sea
his name
snake?
anymore. Sea Snake, yeah. I'm like, you would think his sway would be like, I want that fucker at least removed from the King's Guard. So I don't know. That
Politics
makes
is
no sense to
weird,
me.
especially when you're trying to avert civil war.
I guess. Poor Viserys though. Viserys is always like, guys,
I know.
stop fighting.
Can we all get along? And everyone's like, no, shut the fuck up.
And then the kids are fighting and shit like that. I'm like, oh my god.
Like he's the like I said, he's a good guy, but good guys don't make good leaders necessarily.
I actually
So I was
can't
like,
stand. I can't stand Rhaenyra's kids, the ones the strong kids. I don't like them at all.
Oh yeah, because they always get baited. It's like, what did you do? You know, huh? What is it? Hold on, what is it like? Are you Chicken McFly? No one calls me a chicken. It's literally that. It is like that's every time they got fucking baited. I just thought of Marty McFly, and they're just like, "You Chicken McFly." And they're like,
Oh, you
my favorite part of the I already said my favorite moment from the entire show was when that random kid, I don't think he ever comes back again, that random kid kills that one dude who talked crap about his mom or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, what you say about my mama, basically, but the medieval version, and like killed him.
oh yeah. Like
I should go back and see who that fuck that is. I mean, he's probably at least like some character I can at least follow a random history of. But anyway, the part at the
are
dinner
you
scene,
talking about the little kid, right? The little kid.
yeah, the little kid. Yeah,
It's because I forgot that the two houses are rivals. That's why
Yeah.
like the older dude was talking like mad shit, and then he fucked around and found out.
I just thought that was hilarious. But like,
Straight
also,
up in the Baratheon house, they're like, "What the fuck?" Like he's like, "Dude, wow, no, man, oh, right here, my carpet, on my stone floors, man. Come on, dude."
the fucking I can't remember the older brother's name.
Oh yeah,
Is the older one Lucerys or Jaehaerys? Like, which is the older one?
I think the older one's
Lucerys
Lucerys, but Manuel, the name of the character you're talking about is Willem Blackwood.
Willem. Oh, okay.
Blackwood.
Blackwood. Okay. I wonder if he pops up again because I'm pretty sure he will eventually, at least in the background. Maybe he's dead already. I don't know. The fucking family got back at him, drive by. But no, the dinner scene when Lucerys was like, he was trying to play nice. I think it was the other brother. He's like all tapping him on the shoulders, like, yeah, yeah, cousin. It's like we're friendly. He's like, doesn't want to make a scene in front of Viserys or whatever. Remember that he just hits him really hard and squeezes his shoulder.
Oh yes, Manuel, and the order of the children for Rhaenyra is Jaehaerys, Lucerys, and then Joffrey.
Joffrey. Why is Joffrey such a common name? Everyone's called Joffrey.
Well, I mean, he is named after the lover, though.
What lover? The lover's name was Joffrey?
Yeah, you just were talking about
strong dude.
Strong.
His father's. I'm using air quotes here. Lover. The one who Chris and Cole murdered. He's named after that guy.
You're right. And that they even had a little scene about that too. I'm a dumbass.
Yes.
You're right. They had a little moment, I mean, to say when it's like, what's his name? Joffrey. And it's like, oh, you're not gonna consult, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid.
And they even point out that it's not really a Targaryen name.
Well, also, I thought it was.
She's just like, I just like the name.
Does that hair?
Sure.
Does that hair only grow in when they incest each other? Because like, I get that they would look different, but why do they look so different? The fucking strong kids. The strong kids look nothing like.
You know what they say, Manuel? The seed is strong.
Apparently that fucker has power. Well, I guess when the only other blood in there has been like mixing amongst itself for like millennia or whatever the fuck. When then something new comes along, it's like, hey, I'm gonna kick all their asses like the new sperm or whatever. What am I saying?
Yeah,
Anyway.
probably the silver hair is recessive, very recessive.
Yeah, because that fucker comes in and suddenly the kids look completely different.
Right? Yeah, quite literally.
Oh yeah, same happened with King of Game of Thrones. You actually are right. The dark hair is stronger. Apparently, that platinum, the white hair, whatever the fuck, is the red hair of the Game of Thrones universe. But yeah, back to Rings of Power, because I feel like we talk about Game of Thrones a lot. Oh, basically, in case you can't tell, we clearly love Game of Thrones a lot more.
Man, you kept the saying Game of Thrones, but you know, I'm gonna take
House
it
of the Dragon
because the fucking intro. Okay, I'm sorry, that's a Game of Thrones intro, and I don't know why they just.
Yeah,
that's another gripe. That's another gripe that I would say that
I will admit,
as just
the person moderating this, I have no idea why they kept the theme song on. Like, I love the theme song. I'll say it's definitely better than what Rings of Power has. I could fall asleep to whatever Rings of Power plays.
Like, I don't even remember Rings of Power song.
Yeah, it does not get me like excited to watch the show. It just makes me want to fall asleep. Exactly.
It's I mentioned this in the past. Is the music's done by Bear McCreary. I don't like his music. He does a lot of like TV things. He did the Godzilla movies, the new ones, I mean to say. Mm-hmm. And the thing I always make fun of is he did the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. That was like his first big movie, as in like not TV. That he did, and now he's doing fucking Rings of Power, and I'm just like, like what?
But Manuel, the opening theme is done by the guy who did the score for the movies.
Yeah, Howard Shore did do the opening theme, but like, you would think when you have like a blank check from Amazon, presumably that hopefully, I'm not saying you are, but hopefully there's no shady accounting going on, that you could afford some really bomb ass music to go with Rings of Power. Like, why is it so forgettable? Honestly, I love Howard Shore. They
do have shady on there.
I fucking love Howard Shore's Lord of the Rings shit. I could not tell you how the tune of Rings of Power's opening went. I heard it 8 times. I did not skip it once. I don't know how it went. I don't remember it. Even the fucking Howard Shore fucking opening theme. I don't know how it went. You could play it for me now and I probably wouldn't recognize it. Mix up like 8 songs and make me pick it. It'll be random chance if I get it right. Because I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't. That's true.
None of the music was memorable. There was no fucking like, fellowship theme. There was no like. The thing is, I'm
going to use the bathroom really quick.
Go ahead.
You guys continue. I can still hear you guys. I'm just.
The big thing is like if you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, there's always those moments, especially the fellowship theme. That's why it made me think of it. There's always these big swelling moments of music. You know what I mean, JD? Where like the music gets really loud. It's always like you're meant to feel something there, and I'm like, you can recreate that. And I know at that point you're kind of just copying someone else's work. I mean, don't steal the music, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just do something like that. Why did the show not have that? It was like he fucking just felt like just phoning it in, the whole thing. The music guy, I mean to say. Like none of that was in the show. And the couple of times they might have tried, it didn't work. And I don't even think they really tried. But yeah. I don't know. There was a lot of things wrong with it. I thought the whole pretending Gandalf was Sauron was kind of a weak fake out. I mean, who do they think they were fooling? Except maybe Leslie, because she thought so.
I mean, I would have at least believed it had they said it was, had it ended up being true. Like I said, okay, that's a plausible explanation, because I feel like the like big bad getting amnesia and becoming at least slightly better from it is a common enough like occurrence in fiction.
Well, the only thing that kind of gave it away for me, and I kind of hinted at it when we were talking about Halbrand the first time around. By the way, spoiler alert: Halbrand Sauron. The thing
He's like, let's go, boys.
I mentioned this before that for those who don't know this, the Numenorian saga, so to speak, it's kind of like Atlantis, where eventually the island gets sunk. Spoiler alert. I don't know if this will happen at all. I mean, it has to happen.
I mean, they showed it in future
it's already
visions.
prophesized.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the reason it gets sunk, and this is I mentioned this for a reason because I feel like they already fucked up this plot line because there's no way it's going to work now. At least I think so. Is that Sauron goes to the Numenorians, and by this point he's still like a handsome man, like very like charisma of 18, shows up and it's all like, hey, you know those Valar people in the West? They're actually bad. We should go to war with them. Haven't they screwed you over these millennia? I forgot about you. So they take the army over west, and then the gods are like, we're gods, fool, and then like kills them all and sinks the island. But yeah, and that's how Sauron loses his body. So that's gonna happen at some point, I guess. But I feel like they got the Sauron reveal too early because he should have stayed in Numenor. I'm like, why did he leave? Like, that's the part that screwed with me. Like, I don't get why they were doing the whole plot where it's all like, oh, he's gonna be the king of the Southlands. I thought they were gonna just do that. Like,
Yeah, right.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he really is the king of the Southlands, and Sauron's not here yet. I don't know.
Yeah, they did. That was they ramped it up hella fast at the end. I was just like, oh, damn it. I guess so. Well, I guess he's fucking Sauron now.
It's funny because it felt like they ran out of time. Like, as in they couldn't film anything else. Like, they ran out of money because like
they ramped it up. They're just like, fuck it, just streamline this bitch.
Not only does it start moving way faster, but like suddenly there's a lot more happening. That's the thing that sucks. Like, finally, when shit's happening, they start like last season Game of Thronesing it, where everything just gets compressed. And why was the series only 8 episodes? Like,
remember how many times he went to go fucking go get the mithril like 5 times?
Oh my god.
He fucking went there. I was like, damn, he went there. He's like, yo, I want to see my homie. He's like, bet. And then later he's like, okay, I know y'all guys, we got some mithril, but do you think we can have some? He's like, let me ask my dad. And he goes back, he's like, yo, I know where the mithril is. And then he goes back and he's like, yo, let's go get the mithril. He's like, okay, let's go.
How fucking far away? And I feel like I don't know if maps really exist. I'm sure they do if you look online. But like, how fucking far away is Khazad-dûm to Lindon and to whatever the fuck the other city is, the one that Celebrimbor is at, which are 2 different places, by the way. So there's 2 Elvish cities and the fucking Dwarven city, and they went to all of them like multiple times, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, they went to go see Celebrimbor hell times. I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
it's just like, what the hell is happening? It's like, are these across the street for these people? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
I think it's back to that thing we were talking about with time compression.
Also, and I know that this feels like a throwaway thing, but they should have done this. Is I thought it was so weird that it was so much like panning across shots of cities or like landscapes that have no people in it and zoom into a set. Why did we not see at least once or twice fucking Durin and Elrond walking across to the plains?
Right.
Like, why did we not see a transition like that? Like, that blew my mind. It's like, could you not afford to shoot outside more than like the 2 times you did? You know, it's just like, why didn't you film that? Like, because it would just be weird that they'd be like, oh, I'll go with you to Lindon. Then suddenly they're just there. They're in a set. They went from set to set. Never showed them walking or anything like that. Like, just have a scene where they're walking, do the fucking fake Fellowship theme that Bear McCreary could have written, and just have a moment like that. But no. Yeah, they go
like all they had to do was really just like, I was like, just show a montage of you guys just walking through shit. Like, you guys don't even have you guys just take 5 steps into a certain direction and then cut to another 5 steps in another direction and another 5 steps and you guys take another direction. Like, all right, cool. Like, they're traveling
and then do it the way back. But no, it's just like, what the fuck?
Like if they did it, they didn't even have to. They only had to do it for like one segment, and then after that, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. You don't need to do this on the way back. I understand. Or if you're like, you don't have to do this on the the way there. Just do it one time to make it seem like y'all didn't teleport. I'm over here. Damn, they got this Skyrim fast travel going on here.
The fucking I kind of get why they did it. just for plot convenience. But the whole Mithril will save the elves thing was such a weird plot point.
Oh yeah. That was kind of. I was just like, what? I thought Mithril was just like a fucking rant. It was just like, yeah, I thought it was just a thing. I was just like, okay.
It was Mithril.
It's like someone's just like diamonds. The blood diamond's gonna save the world. I'm like, but I thought blood diamonds were just what?
I mean, how rare is Mithril in Middle Earth? Like, I actually don't remember, so somebody could probably correct me if you're watching this. But like, how rare is Mithril? Because I could have sworn that, like, first of all, like the hobbits find Mithril randomly. Like everyone finds Mithril randomly. Remember, like, well, actually, the Hobbit, I should say, fucking Bilbo did. I don't think the swords the others found were made of Mithril. Were they? Did they glow?
I mean, like maybe they're just. You see, Mithril is kind of like it's kind of like maybe it's kind of like adamantium, but adamantium is not like they're like, damn, bro, we're gonna just save the fucking world with this. The whole world depends on this.
The entire show was about this tiny piece of Mithril, this tiny little piece of Mithril, and apparently they're not really gonna mine for. I mean, I guess they're gonna mine for more and wake up the Balrog because they already showed it. I love that they just like cut and paste. Of all the times they cut and paste the fucking Lord of the Rings design for the Balrog. I'm like, it's the exact.
Oh yeah, they did, huh? It is just the exact same Balrog.
You want to bet that cost them like $1 gajillion? I'm like, of all the times you're gonna like reference something, you had to get the same. You could have made a new Balrog. Like I think that design looked a little too like boring in my opinion. You should see some of the art, like Alan Howe and some other artists used to do of it before. Now we think of that like demon looking thing, but there've been some other really cool ones that they've shown. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. The whole Mithril thing, they make the elven rings, like that was the way they started speedrunning making the rings at the end when they're all like they
had to do it. They had to do it. They're just like
it's like a crown. It's like, oh, crown. And then Gilgalad's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear the crown. This all happened like in 20 minutes, by the way. They went from deciding they were gonna make something to like it being a ring and all the little path through it, like in like half the episode. It made no sense why they
because remember they fucked up. They fucked up that one time. They're like, damn, we fucked up. And then later they're like, all right, bros, we figured it out. We're making 3 rings. So like, oh, okay, sure.
Well, it was funny by that point. It was clear, and especially because Halbrand was acting weird. By that point, it's like, oh, he's fucking Sauron. He's making them make the rings, but I don't think I think the whole point with Sauron was like he just told, like he wasn't hiding that he was Sauron. He kind of like, hey guys, if we make rings, we'll all fucking be powerful, to everyone. Who the fuck are the 9 kings gonna be? By the way, I feel like that's
that's what I was thinking too. Because I was like, oh. Well,
I kept thinking
they're
about
already
this.
Here.
Where are the humans? Right. Like, apparently there's Southlanders and there's Númenóreans. Where the fuck are the other kingdoms? There's apparently 9 of them at some point. And already, because they have to speed it up. Like, they ain't going the long run. Where the fuck are the 9 kings that become the fucking ring wraiths? Who are they? And they're supposed to be kings. They're kings of men. They're not just random, like... I'm calling it right now. They're going to change that. They're going to be randos. They're not going to be kings. Because they haven't introduced 9 kings. But I'm like, why the fuck are there not more kingdoms? Like, why... How did the... And I get it. They're like, oh, they're watched because they betrayed us at one point. How did the Southlanders not have their own king at some point? Like, you would think that they would still kind of have one. I don't know. Kings don't have to follow a bloodline. Usually it's just like, hey, I led you through this area, so I'm your king now. That kind of thing,
They're like, yeah, hooray!
Yeah, basically. It's like, hey, I killed that dude over there, so now I'm in charge, I guess, bitch. Bring me my wine.
It's like, where are Dwarven rings at too, bro? Like, what the fuck? Like I was like, hey, they found you the fucking Mithril. Like, come on, give him some too. Come on. Dude over here is just like, come on, dude. Please.
I need a ring. I need to beat up my daddy. By the way, they left a lot of plot lines unfinished, and I know that this is the end of the show, but I felt like not even like close them off, but at least address them at the end. Like the last time we saw Durin was him getting disowned. That was it. That's it.
Yeah, and I was just like, and I like his character too. I was just like,
Yeah.
man, this is pretty tight. I was like, he actually has like some actual real world, like I was like, instead of just like, oh man, the fuck, we gotta stop all the bad guys. He's just like, dude, man, my dad's a piece of shit. Like, so, like they had like some actual character development, and I was like, oh, this is all we're gonna get. Like, I felt bad because he kind of feels like a plot device. We just need the Mithril, so we're just gonna throw him in here and then sprinkle him in every here and there, and then they just forgot about his ass at the end.
This is probably my own stupidity. First of all, I don't buy it. I'll finish it in a second, but I didn't realize this. I kind of realized that the elf that Arendir found in the pits when he was like a slave for like that one episode, digging the pits, that was his commander. Did you understand?
Like,
did you understand that they all got captured? I guess because in my head,
I didn't. I was like, why does this guy look like that one dude that's like, yo, bro, it's cool. We could abandon this place now. I was like, what the? How did he get here?
Did you understand that, JD? Because in my head,
No, I did not.
In my head, I kept thinking, like, don't worry, just wait. Eventually, the elves leaving, will realize
they're gonna
realize that our commander and Arendir never showed up. Let's go bring more people and come back. And I'm like, why did that ever happen?
That was all of them.
Exactly. I'm still confused by that. They try to explain that they all got captured. You can tell me that not one of them got away. These are fucking elves. You're trying to tell me one of them didn't get away. The fucking Arendir is the only fucking like badass out of all of them.
You know what happened? It's because they didn't roll really good decks. Okay.
I know they must have.
They're bad elves. They put it all into strength. They're just like, we're like, I want my stat block to just be strength, but like, you're an elf. I'm like, no, it's cool. We don't need decks if we killed them. They're like, oh sure. And then they got caught. Like, not gonna lie, I was like, I sat there and I was like, who the fuck is this? I was like, oh, this guy looks like that one dude that was just like, yo, yeah, it's all right. We don't need to be on this post anymore. The earth and the middle earth is good. Like, we're chill now. Like, we don't. We're in good times. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, how the fuck? Oh. I thought
I'm so confused. I'm still confused why no one went to go look for them. Like even if one of them didn't get away, you would think the other elves, wherever the fuck where Rivendell, I'm not sure where the fuck these elves are coming from. Wherever the fuck they're coming from, you think that the elf king there would be all like, or the elf leader, whatever the fuck, would be like, that outpost never came back. You know?
Yeah.
At least
definitely it probably depends on the time scale for how long they take between like I guess regrouping. Like when they check in. Because time does work differently for elves. We kind of established that.
Just like it's been 20 years.
Yeah, it's been 20 years and it's like, oh, it has?
I know. Like, hey, Arendir's been missing for 2 decades now. Like, oh really? It's like, yeah, we recalled his ass like
yeah.
I guess. But that I think that really
snail mail, right?
Yeah, that really bothered me that nobody came to check on those elves that apparently just never came back. Like I get that maybe how did no one escape from that entire Southland bullshit to tell fucking Gil-galad? What kind of spy network? And I know that elves aren't that concerned with like the mortal realm. I get that. First of all, they're not that old yet. This is still like a younger set of like, more battle-hardened elves. It's like, why? Like, how did they not hear that all this fuck shit's going down south? How, like, the orcs are back? Because apparently, like, they thought orcs were gone.
Oh, yeah,
How are they not hearing of this? You think someone, a random straggler, somebody would tell somebody at a bar, that guy would travel, tell someone at the next city, then eventually Gil-galad would be like, orcs are back. Galadriel was right.
I think part of it is that he is in denial. He's doing his best to deny it because he thinks just avoiding the problem will make it go away.
Yeah, Gil-galad dies eventually. You don't know that that's going to happen to him. Elrond, Gandalf ends up with his ring. Spoiler alert. I mean, maybe they'll change that too. So I for all you, they're changing things left and right. So for all you know, that's not going to happen. But yeah, in case you're curious. But yeah, speaking of the rings, I was so that going back to it, that thing was so funny. Where it's all like, it needs to be a circle, a crown for Gil-galad. And then later on, when she finds out about Sauron, she's like, it needs to be a ring, but one they'll want it, and 2 will create division. 3 is the strongest, or whatever. And that line was so funny, and it's bullshit, by the way. But if you ever read Dune, I don't think the movie mentioned this at all. But in Dune the book, very famously, they keep saying that a 3-legged power structure is the most uneven. Period. And I think Frank Herbert was trying to talk shit about the U.S. by the way, but because Dune has the Spacing Guild, the Landsrat, and the Emperor, and they're all like, "Oh, like a house on a 3-legged stool could never stand." Or that's like the Dune mantra. So I'm like, I found it so funny that Galadriel is saying like, "Oh, 3's the best to have." They're like, "No, it
Dividing
isn't."
power. Let's go.
I think it's their different philosophy or ways of thinking on government.
Yes, I think that's funny. I know I'm crossing like obviously other nerdy shit with other nerdy shit, but it's just really funny that if you're a fan of nerdy shit, to hear like literally the exact opposite, mentality. But anyway, I don't know. Rings of Power is just Rings of Power
it's
felt
a
like
fun
a mess.
watch. Just yeah.
That's the biggest part. It felt like a mess. It felt like a mess that they took. Like, apparently they filmed it over the course of a year during the height of the pandemic, and it took a year to fix it up. And I kind of feel that maybe when they were in the editing room, they realized they forgot things. Like, maybe they didn't have enough coverage for certain scenes, so they cut it. Maybe they never filmed parts of the plot lines, and they're like, "Oh shit, we have to cut all this shit." I don't know that, but it feels like when they were done, they're like, "Oh shit, this is all we have," and they just edited it together.
Well,
and I get that does happen, but this show is literally the most expensive piece of media ever created.
Is it?
It is. How the fuck can you spend $1 billion? $1 billion with a B.
You said $1 billion. Oh,
yes. Half of that went to just production, like literally on the screen, supposedly. I mean, I'm willing to kind of agree with it by the end, but $500 million was on the screen, $500 million was other shit. But this show cost $1 billion, the most expensive piece of media so far in history. But it feels like they forgot shit. Yeah, like how? I don't know.
And it's like, yeah, that's how I feel too. I'm just like, damn, yeah, if you spent this much, y'all could have like at least had like hire some writers, please.
And like people who have writing credits, please.
All right, I feel like they're gonna do the fucking Witcher on us and give us a whole.
Honestly, that was the thing that shocked me the most about this series. Is it's apparently the first like screen credits for the 2 lead writers.
Oh yes, I was gonna mention that too. I looked. I didn't know you were gonna go to that. I was waiting for you. Yeah, I looked that up too at one point because I'm like, who the fuck wrote this? And yeah, it's like who how. I hate. Okay, opinion time. I'm just gonna say it straight out. Like, I honestly, it's my opinion that I think that there's some accounting nonsense going on here, because there's no way that they cheaped out on the writers, on the music, on the casting. I know there's good people in the cast. I love some of them, but like, there's no huge names. That's what I mean. On some locations, they fucking went to Home Depot for those fucking lamps. They couldn't cut and paste the CG. It's like there's so many corners.
It's like, where did the money go?
Yeah, I can't believe that this cost $1 billion. Like, it does not. No, like, fucking Jeff Bezos is not. I shouldn't even say Jeff Bezos. I'm sure he has nothing to do with this. Whoever the fuck Amazon hired to produce this, they have like 10 new houses. They bought a private island. No, like
right,
like speculation. That's just my opinion. Allegedly. Don't sue me.
We're just gonna see a pie. We just see a pie chart of like Rings of Power, and just like a slither of like what actually went to production, and the rest is just a question mark.
Buying New Zealand.
Exactly. No, this dude's all like, "Huh,
my New Zealand."
Exactly. My dinner cost $8 million. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? It's like if you look at the numbers, it's like, what do you mean this Uber trip cost you like $20 million? Like, I drove all around New Zealand for a week. Shit like that. Like
I got an Uber to New Zealand. Duh.
I don't know. It just because it's funny because I saw this meme, and this will probably wrap it up here. But I saw this meme for House of the Dragon. I don't know if you saw it, Warren, where it's like it's Allison and Otto Hightower, but they're actors eating like lunch, and they're like eating lunch in outfit or whatever. And I was looking at that meme, and it's like, oh, it's like me and my homies when we're doing fuck shit, but we're hungry or whatever, and I was like, what high budget set would have them eating in their outfits like that on set? It's like you could fuck up. First of all,
you could like fuck up costumes.
You could fuck up the costumes, and more importantly, that's how that fucking Starbucks cup ended up in that scene in Game of Thrones proper, because you don't want to eat on set like that. Period. Because someone's gonna fucking leave their cup, leave the fucking fries,
or accidentally take their food with them as they're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, set it down. Like
something's gonna happen. You don't want to do that. That's why you have to have food somewhere else outside. So I'm like, how low budget was this thing? And I watched some of the House the Dragon built, the making of that show had. The show, first of all, House of the Dragon looks like it costs way more than it should have to make. It cost like a third of Rings of Power. It actually less than a third. I think it cost like a quarter ish, a little more than a quarter, and it feels like it costs more than Rings of Power, even at a quarter of the cost. But I'm pretty sure they needed more money, because if you watch that behind the scenes, if you watch the behind the scenes shit, like it looks like they're struggling. It's like they are poor.
You're like, hey man, do you need a few dollars? He's like, oh no man, I'm cool.
Fucking Allison eating her fucking cheeseburger on the set like that. I'm like come on. Like, and then they're like filming all night and shit like that. It's like, oh man, this is a hard production. Okay.
But maybe they did that. Maybe they did that so that, you know, that it helps them. It helps them like get into character more. You know, it's like purposely making someone method act, but not really. By just putting them in poor conditions, so they just act like their characters.
Rhaenyra's all pissed. She's all like, "I'm always looked over. This is why I'm upset." Daemon's all pissed too. I will say, at the end of episode 8 or whatever, when fucking Rhaenys, is that her name? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Rhaenys.
Yeah, the fucking the wife of the sea snake. When she escapes from the dragon and she's about to kill like all the fucking high towers and, you know, all of them, but then doesn't, pissed me the fuck off.
Maybe at the end, like I'm pretty sure it's supposed to, dude. Because I think the whole entire I know it made. I was like, come on, just say it, bitch. Just fucking say it. Come on, this is your chance. Just like, this is your chance. Just do it. Just do it.
You know how
and then I think someone made a fucking meme where they're like, she didn't do it, but like the fucking Daenerys would have just been like, nah, fuck you guys.
He's like, show's done, guys. Season's wrapped up.
And then it just like you see it just cut off, and then like the fucking Game of Thrones like theme again, but fast forward. Just like, yeah.
Because
like there you go, we're done.
Yeah, I won't spoil the end for obvious reasons. It's obviously already written, and George R.R. Martin is writing House of the Dragon. I didn't know that until like very recently. I didn't know he was on he's like the head writer of the actual TV show. He wasn't for Game of Thrones, but he is for House of the Dragon. Yeah. But so I'm pretty sure he's gonna stick to it mostly. So I won't spoil how it ends, but I'll just say this: pretty much everyone dies. And I think you can kind of guess that we're leading up to that. So yeah, I guess it is a spoiler. But clearly someone wins. Just, you know, but fucking I already forgot. Rhaenys could have like fucking spared all that bloodshed.
It's because it was written, okay? It's not in D&D. We're just like, fuck this. And he's like, well, I guess the show's done. Cheerio. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Like, what do you know? Fucking the Targaryens still have dragons, and obviously that's not really a spoiler because you know that the fucking dragons pretty much go extinct after this. So yeah, it's like, dude, so much shit gets fucked up because of that. And by the way, I said this to Warren the other night. Whenever fucking Viserys starts talking about the Song of Ice and Fire and about the danger in the north and whatever, I was like, I wanna jump down onto set like Rhaenyra, Viserys, both of you, don't fucking worry. It turns out that's nothing. It ends in one episode.
Right?
It doesn't end in one episode. It ends in like one big climactic battle after like a bunch of losses on humanity's side.
But you get what I'm getting at. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, because the entirety of humanity being overrun by an army of the dead.
And remember, like, don't worry about the prince that's promised. Don't worry about that because there's no such thing. A little Stark girl's gonna kill him. So this knife. It's only. Man,
I mean, that is the knife that kills him, though.
It is.
I know, but they're just like, but this knife though, yeah.
And
throw it.
I get that doing the actual killing is probably the part some people might remember, but Jon was probably the only person who could have united all those people at that time to even stand a chance.
I guess it's just funny. Like I just want to tell them, like, guys, don't worry so much about this. It turns out to like work out surprisingly quickly and okay in the end.
Your great grandson. He does. No worries. Yeah. He goes through a lot of stuff, and he doesn't get to close his own chapter on his in his little story. But yeah.
Isn't he?
He doesn't need a knife.
It's in like the development phase right now.
Yeah, he's getting a show too. I don't know.
But what is he gonna like? What is he really like? What's he really gonna do though? like what's there?
I think there's kind of the insinuation that
more zombos.
Oh no, I was gonna say Jon also becomes like the king beyond the wall.
Oh, I was gonna say my only big problem with Game of Thrones is like maybe
he's finding another redhead.
I always feel like Game of Thrones is a little. Game of Thrones is
Okay, all right.
Wait, I talk shit. I talk shit about Middle Earth's magic earlier. Game of Thrones doesn't have any magic. It has dragons.
I mean,
it does have magic.
It's magic. It's
just that one guy died, and then they prayed his ass back to life.
Kinda. Like, don't get me wrong, there is magic, but it's like it's not really magic in the typical fantasy sense. So now that there's no dragons in fucking Game of Thrones, part of me is always like, do we really need to see something else after the Song of Ice and Fire series? Like, I feel like that should be the end. Like, there shouldn't be. Keep telling the past if you want, but I feel like that's kind of boring if you want to go beyond that. To me, just to me, because I feel like at that point it's not fantasy anymore. It's just like sort of historical fiction in a non-real world setting.
Very low fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super. It's like, yeah, give me some elves. Like, there's elves in the north apparently.
I mean, those were the
there you
children
go.
of the forest, but they're all dead now.
They're all dead.
I mean, I think part of it is kind of like the age is coming past, and now we're on to something new.
Oops. Anyway, so
I mean, what they could also do is like actually just like explore not Westeros.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apparently, what else?
Just saying.
There's Essos. There's Sothos. Is it Sothrios? The other one, the other main continent.
Like
there's Ashai by the Shadow. Yeti.
Ashai seems hella cool.
Not gonna lie.
Oh,
there is a World of Ice and Fire book that
I need to. At ALA, we're gonna drink the incest wine. I got the House of the Dragon wine.
Okay, yeah.
No, Manuel, it's just it's actually the blood of coming out of the menstrual cycle, having the baby blood.
This is
there you go, birth blood.
Yeah, this is that shit. That shit. I meant this. That stuff that came, the afterbirth that came out of her when she gave birth to that, really.
It was made out of the placenta.
Yeah, they distilled it, and this is what we're drinking.
All right, Manuel, we are over time. Why don't we start wrapping up?
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Basically, I'm not gonna lie. I thought we had to pad this out. I didn't know we had so much to say about both. Basically, I think you got our views. Like, House of the Dragon's good. Hopefully, there's more shit coming in the future. Rings of Power is okay. It feels like a hot mess that they saved a little. I hope it gets better. I love Lord of the Rings. I hope it gets better. That's all I have to say. Apparently, they're gonna make new movies. At least it's rumored to be now. Like, I guess like.
Wait. I think like Warner Brothers said, yeah, hey, remember we have the rights to make more Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna make like the Fourth Age or whatever the fuck. So yeah.
Oh wait, when does the Fourth Age end? I can't remember.
Well, the Third Age ends there. Like when.
Yeah, I know that, but the Fourth Age, I believe Fifth Age ends with Hitler's death.
Was that what it is?
I think so.
What?
What is the Fourth Age?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whose death ends the Fourth Age.
Oh, you're actually all right. But
I know it changed from time to time if you ask like Tolkien different days.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, Christopher Tolkien was the one who was like a bit more hardcore about protecting the what's the word? Like not adding too much new things to the Legendarium. Yeah. So now that he's passed away, and he passed away in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Now that he's passed away, and I think he was already setting off on things on Rings of Power. It's not like he was alive for the start of that. So now that he's passed away, though, I think there's like no more barriers about like, oh, now we can fucking make this into like huge expansive mythos, which honestly it should have been, in my opinion. If I wrote something like that, I would fucking want people to keep writing it. If I like after I pass, like fucking keep going, you know. But I want to see like Lord of the Rings Part 28. Well, I guess I want to. But yeah, that's what I meant.
And then they're gonna make a remake.
And then they're gonna remake. It's like Frodo. I mean, Elijah Wood's now gonna play Sauron. But I mean, not Sauron. I meant Gandalf.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say.
See, I did it.
Bilbo.
I did
it. I thought yeah.
Oh, actually, that would make a much better. That would make way more sense than what I said.
Okay, Manny, what are we doing this week?
Tomorrow we're going to be playing probably some Oregon Trail. If not, then we're going to default back to Wild. I almost said Rings of Power. We'll default back to Wild Arms too. But hopefully, I can get. I want Snacks to do just to involve him more, and I'm gonna see if he can just do Oregon Trail with us tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. We'll probably run our D&D characters there and make up some fun names, and we'll just play. Only because we said we play them all, and then we just stopped after part 2. So probably tomorrow we'll play part 3, and yeah, that's it. There's no Drink Talk roll this week. Next Tuesday we're doing UPZ. I don't know for sure who'll be on. I asked a couple people, but we were probably gonna do like the albums that changed our lives kind of thing, or
UPZ?
Yeah, UPZ. We're gonna do like basically. We're gonna steal the no skip thing that we did on the fucking thing.
Well,
but sort of.
Just let me know.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I could do that all day.
So that and
I could do that all day.
And next Friday, not only does Pokemon come out next Friday, but next Friday is also Drink Talk Roll. So I assure you, I will be playing Pokemon all morning. Then I will probably play.
Leslie over here almost lied to me. She's just like, it's coming out tomorrow. I was like, the 8th? She's like, yeah. I was like, no, it isn't. It's next week. She's like, no. I was like, Leslie's 18th. Goddamn it, not the 8th.
Oh, next week's packed for me. Wow.
I was like, at first I was like, hold on, I am not. My wallet's not ready for this right now.
Well, thank God, I had a bunch of Amazon credit when I bought it, so technically it's already paid for. I'm just waiting for it to come on next Friday. And yeah, Games of Power, Rings of Power,
Games of Power,
House of the Dragon wine at ALA. I'll be drinking that. That's it. Peace out. That's it. That's it for the schedule. Oh, shout out to our current patrons, Ed Kenneth and Ravel. Actually, I don't think Ravel is one anymore. I think it's Ed and Kenneth. We have to change that later on. But more importantly, go to our Patreon. There's Patreon previews already of some of our upcoming interviews. I have a new writing that's going up like when we're done here. Technically, it's already finished. I just forgot to post it today. Oops. I'll post it tomorrow morning, actually, just so it's not posting at 10 p.m. And
I was in those interviews. They're really good. And I was there for those interviews. They're really good.
Yeah, even reading them back now, I'm like, oh, these are pretty good interviews. Like usually, not to say like usually I hate our interviews, but yeah, they're actually really good interviews. Please check them out. And check them out anyway. If you don't want to be a patron, just keep an eye out for them. And that's it. Peace out. Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, JD. Good night.
Welcome. See you later.